FEMA, and particularly some of the regions of FEMA, should be commended for their efforts.
With you, Governor, as the Governor is pointing out, this community was hit as bad as any place, but there are communities all across Alabama and all across this region that have been affected, and we're going to be making that same commitment to make sure that we're doing whatever we can to make sure that people are okay.
Providing quality through the guidelines that are published. A tremendous number of competent people in FEMA that are paying attention to the quality control aspects of safe rooms.
FEMA Publication 320 presents several designs that could be constructed at your home or perhaps a small business. These designs are intended to provide near absolute protection for up to 16 people within the safe room.
Some of the regions are doing an outstanding job, not only of, say, implementing programs to build safe rooms, but also to provide the quality. Region 4, there's a tremendous challenge right now in Alabama and with the number of tornadoes that have occurred.
I'm standing here in the middle of Forest Lake, which was one of the hardest hit areas of Tuscaloosa. This is a historic neighborhood that saw many deaths as a result of the EF4 tornado that touched down on April 27th. Behind me is a safe room, basically a haven of hope for those that lived here. As you can see, the tornado basically cleared this house right off its foundation. But within this room, those that lived here were safe. So that it's not only for those of means, but it's for everyone, whether it's the first-time home buyer or somebody leasing, that they have an opportunity for a safe room.
Establishing criteria for eligibility in setting up a consistent process throughout the state to ensure the quality of these safe rooms.
In the future, that the city of Tuscaloosa adopts building codes that are going to require more safe room structures, especially in our high-density area.
Since the storm, I've learned a new language. It's called FEMA. I appreciate FEMA. As a big thank you. You're doing a fantastic job. And we're discussing the long-term recovery efforts in Phil Campbell. And I was amazed at Director Fugate for coming down and Secretary Napolitano when she said, let's start and build afresh and anew. But I think that we have a chance to, as was mentioned a while ago, to make lemonade out of lemons.
You know, you think your schools are safe. You got brick, in a lot of cases, brick buildings, and we have safe locations they're all designated as safe areas for our kids to be protected in the event of a storm. But and we had those, and we did our drills. We did everything we were supposed to do as a school district to prepare our kids and for an event like this. The thing that was so devastating was the scale of force, unlike anything anybody had ever seen before, that came with this tornado. And again, had that been during the school day, during school hours with kids in those classrooms, in those hallways, in those bathrooms, I'm very concerned about the loss of life that would have occurred as a result of where our kids were placed. It wasn't a lack of planning on our part, certainly, but it was design-wise. Our facilities weren't built to withstand such a force. You know, we are making plans for the future of the Joplin schools, and certainly a big part of those plans is the development of safe rooms in all our school facilities, and not just accessible to our kids, but also our families and parents and community members after school, during and after school hours.
Better to be safe than sorry. You know, looking back, I'm glad we had no one injured, but looking back, you know, our safety plan, even though it was approved and it was what we were supposed to do, it was not going to. Had we been in school, it was not going to keep kids from getting hurt, and some probably seriously hurt. If you all walked through our high school or this area, if you can imagine having kids in this classroom. And so, you need to plan for that so that we don't have that tragedy. And certainly it's opened our eyes here in Hackleburg and Marion County. We're definitely, that's our number one priority. We're going to have a safe place for folks to go when we build back our school. This summer when we set up mobile units, that was the number one thing. All right, what can we do to make sure that we have safe, storm areas, storm centers that we can put our kids in. And so that's on the drawing board with our architect. That's already in the making. So, you know, that's our number one priority right now, keeping our kids safe.
Every year we do upwards of a dozen different safety awareness, weather awareness campaigns throughout the city and throughout the county. We have an annual Weather Spotters meeting. I go around to the various organizations, churches, clubs, nonprofit, we pretty much don't care who we go talk to, and talk about weather safety and how you can be safe, how you can have a kit, how you can make a plan, how you can be aware. And one of the things that we're going to add to that is a very strong emphasis on not only finding an interior room with lots of walls between you and the exterior, but also to promote the idea of building safe rooms, either within the structure or just outside the structure, in order to make people safe.
We really try to shy away from retrofitting as much as we can. It doesn't do a lot of good to put, you know, a FEMA door or one that complies to the ICC 500 in a wall that's going to fall down around it. That doesn't make a lot of sense to me. So there are very few, and I have seen very, very few situations that I would feel comfortable going in and retrofitting as a designer. And we do additions all the time that we can design from scratch and we can watch be constructed from scratch, then we know. So that we do a lot of additions. We do a lot of new buildings that a portion of it is shelter. So yeah, we've done both those situations. But I cannot think of one retrofit that we've done.
You can get up to $2,000 from Oklahoma City just for installing a safe room.
You can register for the city's new safe room rebate. It starts today. More than 500 rebates will be given away. All you have to do is register. You wait for the confirmation from the city and then install your safe room. To learn more or how to register, go to KOCO.com.
In our area, we're used to seeing EF0 through EF2 tornadoes. Jasper County is #1 in the state of Missouri for tornadic activity since 1950. Most of those tornadoes are short track and very quick. You'll see them drop and run along maybe a couple hundred yards and pick back up. As a result, our warning times are in the neighborhood of 7 to 10 minutes. That's not enough time to realize what's going on, to grab the car keys, to get the family into the car, and then try and go someplace. You're going to get caught outside. So we promote heavily shelter in place. Already having a shelter in your house or perhaps just outside the house, depending on where you install this, so that you can know that when the sirens go off, when your weather radio starts to sound, and you know it's time to go hide, that you have a place close by to do that. From what I have heard from the people, we set the sirens off twice. From what I have heard from the people out there, the first time the sirens went off, they looked around and they couldn't see anything, so they were trying to figure out why the sirens went off. Mm-hmm. The second time, they could finally see that there was indeed a storm coming, in fact, was almost upon them, so they decided they better do something about it. I had wished that they had not thought that. Our policy has been to set the sirens off, and that means it's not your job to go outside and see what's going on, it's your job to go hide. So hopefully that message will now get out a little bit for the next few years.